Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna start the first science project of 3.10 Delirium League, and it's going to be another good old burial chamber farming. So since they introduced the favorite map system here on the Atlas map device, we're finally able to sustain burial chambers or certain other maps. We're going to prioritize or focus on the burial chambers on this video. So it will work with any other map as well. So we have these favorite maps here, right? So I don't even know how you get the first two because I was just focusing on finishing the Atlas, and once I was done, I saw that I had two of each region already activated, which means you probably have to do a certain amount, but just mouse over, and then here it says slot 1 unlocked, favorite map none. Means usually, as you see on slot 3, it tells you what you need to do to unlock these, right? So for my project here in the Valdos Rest here, I have unlocked all 3 here, which means that we can get the burial chamber in here 3 times because this one will stack. So how you unlock this one, or at least how to choose, you just click on that one and then choose a certain map here, let's say dig map, and we have this one over here. So what does this do? Basically, you have chances to drop a map, obviously, then through the Atlas map bonus objectives, basically, it can be upgraded, basically. But what this now does is that every time you have a favorite map unlocked, it gets like a 10% multiplier or drop chance multiplier, whatever. What means that in the end, if a map drops, it has a drop rating by 1, for example, right? While the favorite map has a drop rate by 10. This will not give you more maps in total, right? Not more maps, but the maps that will drop will be more likely to be the one that you favorite. And this one stacks, so that means I have it 3 times in here burial chamber. It means I have like a 30 multiplier basically on the chance of getting this certain map. It seems like this is not affected by the complete Atlas completion, which is good, because if I would favorite this one and every time it drops it gets rolled higher because of my bonus objectives, then I cannot sustain, right? But I did this yesterday with 2 here, so it works with 2 as well. I ran like 30 or 40 burial chambers. I had like 30, 40 sustain or returns, so I can sustain it. This time around, yesterday in the evening, before we're gonna start this project here, I unlocked the 3rd one, means I completed all the bonus objective, the awakening bonus, with the 4 watchstones in. Good. How are we going to start this, or how to explain how you can start this, basically. Let's talk about how you start with the burial chambers. Means, do you have to buy all of your burial chambers? And the answer is no, you don't have to. Simple, because we have horizon orbs. Horizon orbs will basically change your map to another map of the same tier. So if you're going to take a look at the burial chamber, which is a tier 7 map, therefore you have to know what is a natural map tier and what is a fake tier, right? So basically, pretty simple. Let's see, the peer map is a tier 1 map. This is the natural tier 1 map, right? If I get in 1 watchstone, it gets upgraded to a tier 4 map. So this would be a fake tier 4 map because the original, the core map, was a tier 1 map, right? The same is with burial chambers. Burial chamber is a natural tier 7. That means if I have no watchstones in there, there is no burial chamber over here. But if I get this one in here, we get more maps and higher maps, and now we have the burial chamber. So I have here, I wrote down a list. You can just Google natural map tiers for 3.10, and you will get a list like that. And there you can see that there is the tier 7, there is only the precinct and burial chamber. These are the only 2 natural map tiers that we can have. That means if we take any other map that is tier 7, like any fake map basically, which for example is Lava Chamber is a fake map, right? Mesa map is a fake map in that case, because they are existing on a lower tier. And what that means is now if I use the Horizon Orb, they will turn guaranteed in either the Precinct map or the Burial Chamber, because this is the natural tier and the Horizon Orb will take care that you get the natural tier. So let's do that real quick on these 6 map, and you're gonna see, okay, we have 3 Burial Chamber and 3 Precinct map, which means it's a 50-50 basically, right, on the first take. Now it's a 100% chance, because the Orb of Horizon will now take the map and we'll roll it into another map, since we only have the precinct and the burial chamber, which means as soon as I use it on the precinct map, I cannot get another precinct, right? So we're gonna turn those 3 into burial chambers as well, and now we basically used how many, like 8, 9 horizon orbs, and we transformed 6 fake maps into 6 burial chambers. As I said, the first try is 50-50, the second try will be guaranteed. So this is how you can start. Just use your access tier 7 maps and just use some horizon orbs and just make a bunch of burial chambers this way. So then the next thing that we have to talk about, or can talk about, the investment, how we're gonna run these kind of maps. We talked about how to favorize your maps, that it gets higher chances, how to get your first burial chambers to get going. So now we're gonna talk about the how we're gonna run that. So basically, as always, we made this quite like science project last league, running a full quad tab with burial chambers using the Legion modifier, right? We chiseled them, we sextoned them, we did everything to get the most out of it. If you remember, we had about 50 exalts investment to get a full quad tab, fully chiseled, alked, chaos spammed, whatever. And we made about 150 exalts once we were done with the quad tab, means we had a roughly 100 exalts pure profit. This time around, we're not gonna spend anything, just the core things, means I'm going to value every single burial chamber or T7 map that we're going to get for 1 chaos. Then we're going to use an alchemy to make them rare. And then maybe some chaos to remove early reflect, for example. Or if you want to save that currency as well, I'm just too lazy. We're going to use prime sextants, not the awakened, because the prime will naturally drop in the burial chambers as well. That means you can get the modifier with the elemental reflect immune, right? So you could actually just alch spam your maps, put all the reflect to the side that you cannot run, for example, my build. And then basically, once you hit the LA Reflect on your Sextant, you can run those Reflect maps and still be safe. Good, but still, I'm just too lazy for that. I'm just going to spam some Chaos if there's a Reflect, and we're still gonna use Sextants just because they will add more monsters to the map, means we have a higher chance of getting good drops. Good, that means we have we would have a total amount spent for maps about 1,100 chaos, but this time around, since we could not sustain burial chambers in the last league, but now since we have the favorite maps, we can sustain it. So that's why I'm going to start with 50 maps here. So I have here a second map device, second fragments. This is where all the currency will go into that we're gonna find in this map, so we really have them separated to my currency. So basically, I'm going to start with 50 burial chambers, and we're going to see if I'm able to get out of those 50 that we can sustain 576, like a full quad tab of maps this way. As I said, we're going to use the Alch, probably reroll, and use Prime Sextants. No map modifiers, no chisels, no nothing. Just to have a good comparison to last league, to see percentage-wise how much profit we are going to make. This will be a 3-video series like the other one. Means this one is the first part explaining what we're going to do. Second one will be a rough build guide on the character that I'm using. And the third video will be, once we're done with farming those maps, how much currency did we make, how many doctor drops, was it profitable at all? And then we can basically count how long did I stream and what is the chaos per hour gained basically. So I would say we're gonna start off the project with the first map. Means I'm also gonna use here 50 sextants. We're gonna convert this one over because we're gonna find some of these anyways to maybe even sustain them. So we're gonna throw the first sextants. We have convert when killed. This is totally fine. So basically, we're just gonna run the map now without any modifiers activate, no chisels, no nothing, just alch and go basically like the good old times with the perma-sustaining. So I'm playing here a pretty weak, now actually strong, weak kind of character, which is a magic finder. We currently have about, not too much actually, we have about Misk, or is it? Charges? No. Quantity 50%. So we have 50% quantity on this character using maximum power charges with the helm, with the weapon and so on, and an explode chest. And we basically have a triple explode coming from the Profane Bloom. We have the cluster jewel with the unspeakable gifts and the explode chest itself. So we have triple explode on this, but it's kind of weak in the terms of that it doesn't really have a lot of life. We're also going to run the Delirium as good as possible. I have a Cast on Death portal set up, so it's not really a hardcore viable strategy in this case. But in the end, if I die, I'm just gonna respawn there, and if it gets too much, I'm just going to skip the rest of the Delirium, and we're gonna see how valuable it is to run all of these Deliriums. Good. I have 2 inspired learnings, if you're wondering about my Headhunter buffs. it's not Headhunter, it's basically 2 inspired learnings on the top and right side. So that will give me some nice boost here sometimes. God damn it. If we're gonna get the haste buff, for example, or anything like that, which should actually speed up our mapping experience quite a lot. So, just run through. Give me a haste buff. We're gonna speed things up, but as you see, the explosions are quite nice. I'll just speed this one up here. I'm not even, like, I'm running a loot filter with the Uber Strict Plus. That means this is the highest strictness of filter that Neverthink has to offer, because I don't see a reason why to use certain amount of, or why I should pick up, like, chromatic orbs and stuff like that. That will just take so long, and in the end, it's not going to be profitable at all, because the more, or the less we have to pick up, the more maps we can run in the end. Good, that's about it here for the first map, I would say. Let's just end the simulacrum now, see what we get, and pick up the stuff real quick. But yeah, as you see, this is the build kind of a build guide roughly. This is not an end build guide, because there is still a lot of things missing and they haven't even done lab yet. There is still a blue weapon, blue chest and stuff. So, but it works for now, which is cool. So we can farm, we can make this project working, and we're gonna just run along and see what upgrades we can get throughout the progress. But as I said, in about 2 days, I will give you the build guide, how this character works and how I put it together. And then in the end, the third part will be the end of the currency, or at least the project, and see how much currency we'll get. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.